The topic of discussion was complexometric titration. In complexometric titration, we discussed the introduction of complexometric titration, basic concepts, then principle. Then we discussed types of complexometric titration that involve direct titration, back titration, replacement titration, indirect titration. Then we discussed about masking and demasking agents, and then the application of complexometric titrations. Simply we talk about what is titration, what is the end point, and then we discuss about complexometric titrations. Actually, what are complexometric titrations? These are based upon the formation of complex, and these are useful for the determination of different metal ions concentration in solution. So what is complex? We also talk about this. Complex is formed between the metal ion and ligand. And ligand here are electron donating species. Matter is electron deficient species. So ligand can be of different types, and here we discussed about chelating agent, and we take the example of EDTA, that is used as a complexing agent or chelating agent for the formation of complex with metal ions. So next we talk about indicator. Indicator actually is capable of producing a definite color change, and that is used to detect the endpoint of titration. So in this case, EDT titration in complexometric titration, in most cases we use Ediochrome black T indicator. Then we discuss principle of complexometric titration, and here we said that these calcium or magnesium ions that are present in water, or if we are doing this in lab, then we can prepare the solution of these calcium salts or magnesium salts, and here indicator is used, that is EBT, Ediochrome black tea. It forms unstable complex with that metal ions, and when we add EDTA from the burette, this indicator is replaced by EDTA, then the metal ion and indicator, then the metal ions and chelating agent, that is EDTA, complexes form, and EBT will be in free form. So in initial stage, when metal ions and EBT complexes form, then its color will be wine red, and when EBT is in free form, overall color of solution will be blue. Here we also discuss the principle of complexometric titration. Next we discuss that which kind of indicators could be used in complexometric titrations, and here we talk about Ediochrome black tea. Ediochrome black tea, it is also known as modern black tea or solochrome black tea. Other indicators are amur oxide or ammonium perborate or catechol violet, that is also indicator, and another indicator, that is methyl blue. But for same metals, for lead, zinc, cadmium and mercury, these two indicators can be used. One is methyl blue, another is thymol blue. Methyl blue, it can be used if pH range is 4 to 5, and its color will be blue to yellow when it will form complex with the metal ion. And thymol blue will form complex with the metal ion in the range of 10 to 12, and its color will be blue to gray. And next, alizarin and sodium alizarin sulfonate, xylenol range, these all can be used indicators in complexometric titrations. Then we talk about types of complexometric titrations. These are direct titrations, back titrations, replacement titrations, and indirect titrations. First is direct titration. It is simplest method of titration, and this is also known as EDTA titration. We can say that इसमें अब होता क्या है कि डायरेक्टली आप जो है स्टैंडर्ड सोल्यूशन देते हैं EDTA का, और जो फ्लास्क है उसमें आप लेंगे मेटल सोल्यूशन जिसकी कंसनट्रेशन हमें अननोन है, जिसकी हम डिटरमिन करना चाह रहे हैं कंसनट्रेशन, और उसमें आप जो है मोस्टली जो है वो यूज़ करेंगे इंडिकेटर। जैसे हमने ईबीटी की बात की, अगर हम कैल्शियम की डिटर्मिनेशन कर रहे हैं तो आप उसमें ब्यूरिट में से ऐड करते जाएंगे ईडीटीए अनटिल कि आपको एंड पॉइंट उसका नहीं मिल जाता। एंड पॉइंट आपको किस सूरत में मिलेगा, जब उसका कलर चेंज हो जाएगा ईबीटी के केस में, और कैल्शियम के साथ उसका कलर जो है वो वाइन रेड से ब्लू में कन्वर्ट हो जाता है। So next are back titrations. So today we will start from replacement titration, and then we will discuss indirect titration, and then the masking and demasking agents, about masking and demasking agents, and then the application of complex somatic titrations. There are different types of complexometric titrations, and these types include direct titration, back titration, number 3 is replacement titration, and indirect titration. Later on we will discuss these all types in detail one by one. Next titration type is replacement titration, that is also a type of complexometric titration. When direct or back titrations do not give sharp endpoints, or when there is no suitable indicator for the anal light, so the metal may be determined by this method, that is known as replacement titration. Also name indicates that one metal is replacing the other one. So the metal to be analyzed is added to a metal EDTA complex. For example, for the determination of manganese, an excess of magnesium EDTA chelate or complex is added to the solution of manganese, and the manganese ion quantitatively displaces magnesium from magnesium EDTA solution, because manganese form a more stable complex with EDTA, and the complex of magnesium and EDTA is not very stable as compared to manganese EDTA complex. So magnesium will be in free form, and this free magnesium metal is then directly titrated with a standard solution of EDTA using Iriochrome black tea indicator. So in this example we can see that in this equation that we have taken magnesium EDTA solution in excess, whose concentration and volume will be known to us, and we added manganese in it. Here this manganese ions will replace this magnesium ions. For example, we say that 10 molecules of manganese reacted with EDTA, then it will replace 10 molecules of magnesium, and the complex manganese EDTA complex will form, and magnesium ions will be in unreacted form or in free form. So these free magnesium ions will also be 10 molecules, because these 10 molecules of manganese replace 10 molecules of magnesium. So this remaining magnesium ions will be titrated with standard EDTA solution. An indicator that will be used is Iriochrome black tea EBT indicator, and then this will form the complex with EDTA, and we can find the concentration of that metal manganese ions. Next type is indirect titration. Certain anions that form precipitate with metal cations and do not react with EDTA, that can be analyzed by indirect titration. So the anion is first precipitated with metal cation, and then these precipitates are washed and boiled with an excess of disodium EDTA solution to form metal complex. So barbiturates can be determined by this method. If barbiturates are directly and react directly titrated with EDTA, there will be no reaction. So for this purpose, we can use mercurous. So barbiturates cannot be directly titrated with EDTA because they do not react with EDTA, but this can be quantitatively precipitated from alkaline solution by mercury kinds as 1:1 in a ratio complex. So method for the this indirect titration is that barbiturates that we want to analyze is taken in flask and heated with excess of mercury in alkaline solution. It should be basic range, and when precipitated mercury barbiturate complex is formed. It is filtered and dissolved in excess of standard EDTA solution, and the unreacted EDTA solution is then back titrated with the standard zinc solution as we previously discussed in other methods. So in this equation, above and below equation, you can see that barbiturate directly did not react with the EDTA. There will be no reaction with EDTA and barbiturates, but in case of when it is heated with excess of mercury in basic solution, it is precipitate out in the form of barbiturate and mercury complex, and then it will be titrated. Then this mercury will form complex with EDTA and barbiturate will be in free form. So the unreacted EDTA, then it will be back titrated with the standard EDTA solution. The next important terms are masking and demasking agents. What is masking? Masking may be defined as a process in which a substance is separated or prevented to take part in the reaction. So the masking agent binds with the substance and transforms it in a way that it cannot enter into the reaction. ये मास्किंग एजेंट जो है आप उसको उससे रिएक्शन में हिस्सा लेने से पार्टिसिपेशन से उसको रोकते हैं. So example of masking agent is cyanide ion, and this forms stable cyanide complex with cations of cadmium, zinc, mercury, copper, cobalt, nickel, silver, and the platinum metals. So what is demasking? It is a process in which the masked substances regain its ability to enter into a particular reaction. So the example of demasking agent is cyanide complexes of zinc and cadmium may be demasked with the formaldehyde acetic acid solution or with chloride hydrate. So chloride hydrate and formaldehyde acetic acid solution, they both act as a masking agents. And in this cyanide complexes of zinc or cadmium may be demasked with formaldehyde acetic acid solution, or it can be demasked with chloride hydrate solution. Here we can see that in direct titration, calcium, zinc, and nickel, all three these metal ions can react with EDTA and they form calcium EDTA complex, zinc EDTA complex, or nickel EDTA complex, and we give them name as X metal ions. So if there are masking agent, that is potassium cyanide, used in titration. For example, we have all three ions, but we want to determine the concentration of one ion, that is calcium ion. So what we will do, we will add potassium cyanide in that titration as a masking agent. So it will mask zinc and nickel, so they will not form complex with EDTA. Zinc and nickel will not form complex with EDTA. Only calcium will form complex with EDTA, and we will give it as name as YM. Next is demasking agent. that we already discussed its example, that chlorohydrate is used as a good masking agent, demasking agent. For example, here calcium, zinc and nickel, there are three metal ions present and we want that this zinc, other two, calcium and zinc, can react with the EDTA, but nickel should not react with EDTA. So nickel will not react with this EDTA, it will not form any complex. So there are two metal ions that form complex, calcium and zinc. Uh, so here nickel is demasked and calcium and zinc can react with EDTA. So we give this name as ZM. From the above example, we see that Xm is equal to calcium, zinc and nickel, and Ym, in which all three metal ions can react with the EDTA, and Ym, in which masking agent potassium cyanide is used, is equal to calcium concentration, in which only the EDTA, calcium can react with EDTA. And next is Zm, in which calcium and zinc can form complex with EDTA, but nickel cannot form complex. So we can find individual concentration from this all three titration types and masking and demasking agent we are using. So in this case, if for example you have a calcium, then it is equal to Ym and Ym is equal to calcium, and zinc, Zm, zinc is equal to Zm minus Ym. So Zm is equal to calcium plus zinc and Ym is equal to calcium. So this calcium and calcium will be cut down, so it will be equal to zinc. Similarly, for nickel, you know that for nickel, only for nickel, if you want to find the concentration of nickel, what you will do, you will subtract Zm from Xm, and you know that Xm is equal to the concentration of all three ions, that is calcium, zinc and nickel, and Zm is equal to the concentration of calcium and zinc. So here this calcium and calcium will be cut down and zinc will be cut down, and only there will be nickel left. So individual concentration of metals you can find by this formula. So complexometric titrations in the clinical laboratory are limited to those substances that occur in fairly high concentrations, since volumetric methods are generally not too sensitive. So we can use these complexometric titrations in a clinical laboratory. In, for example, the most important complexometric titration is the determination of calcium in blood, and we can do this by complexometric titrations. So application of complexometric titrations is a general example that is commonly used is the hardness of water. We can determine the hardness of water. Actually, the hardness is due to both calcium and magnesium salts, but the two are determined together in the titration. Total calcium and magnesium is titrated with standard EDTA solution using idiochrome black tea as indicator. So overall hardness of the water can be determined by EDTA titration or complexometric titration. An indicator that is used is idiochrome black tea, we already discussed in principle. Other applications of EDTA titration or complexometric titration is in food industry, and in food industry calcium is could be determined in cornflakes. Similarly, in the plating industry, nickel could be determined in plating solution by complexometric titrations, and in the metal industry in etching solutions. So in addition to above in food industry and plating industry, aluminium hydroxide in liquid and acids is determined by similar titrations. Nearly all metals can be accurately determined or analyzed by complexometric titrations, and complexic reactions are also useful for gravimetry and spectrophotometry and for masking interfering ions. So, analytical chemists can use the formation of complexes to advantage in ways other than in titrations. So, these formation of complexes could be used in many ways by analytical chemists. So, for example, metal ion chelates may be formed and extracted into a water immiscible solvent for separation by solvent extraction. So these metal ion chelates could be prepared for solvent extraction. It could be separated by solvent extraction. So complexes of chelates are used mostly in gravimetry. It could be used and in spectrophotometry in solvent extraction, and in chromatography these complexes of chelates could be used. So metal ions with chelating agents like dithiazone, for example, are mostly useful for extraction. So these chelates are often highly colored, so their formation can then serve as the basis for spectrophotometric or atomic spectroscopic determination of metal ions. So the complexes of chelates are could be used in gravimetry. It could be used in spectrophotometry. It could also be used for solvent extraction and other techniques that like chromatography. So in case of solvent extraction, the metal chelating agent like dithiazone could be used, and these chelates are basically most of the time these are colored and they form colored complexes. So they can serve as a basis for the spectrophotometric or atomic spectrophotometric determination of metal ions. So in gravimetric analysis, we can take the example of nickel dimethyl glyoxime precipitate that are formed in gravimetric analysis. So, complexation equilibrium. Sometimes equilibrium may influence chromatographic separation, and already we have mentioned that the use of complex agents as masking agents to prevent interfering reactions can also influence that complexation equilibrium. So, for example, in the solvent extraction of vanadium uh, with the chelating agent oxine, that is oxine or 8-quinolinol, the extraction of copper is avoided by chelating it with EDTA. So it can prevent the formation of oxine chelate. So when we want to extract vanadium, then we can chelate it with the chelating agent like oxine. But in this case, as the copper is also present, so we don't want to extract copper. So we will add the EDTA, and this copper will form complex with the EDTA, and copper EDTA complex will form, and we can separate vanadium oxide chelate as a for separation of vanadium. So, chelating agents like we have discussed EDTA. So, these chelating agents like EDTA could be used in the treatment of heavy metal poisoning. For example, when children ingest chipped paint that contains lead. So, for this purpose, calcium chelate is administered to or added to prevent the complexation and use of calcium EDTA. sodium EDTA. So it prevents leaching of calcium in the bones. So heavy metals such as lead form more stable EDTA chelates than calcium does, and it will displace the calcium from the EDTA. So we use calcium EDTA complex instead of EDTA, because here the lead can make a stable complex with the EDTA. So this lead will replace that calcium, and it will make complex with the EDTA, and this chelated lead is then excreted by a kidney, and it cannot penetrate into the bones. Assignments that you have to solve. First, you have to find out the examples of masking agents. And the second assignment is that you also have to find the examples of demasking agents, and which demasking agent or masking agents could be used for which kind of metals. So that's all our topic today. That was complexometric titration. I hope you will understand it. If you have any questions, you can ask. And in this first we discuss about complexometric titrations. What are complexometric titrations? What are ligands? What are chelating agents? What is coordinate covalent bond? And how many types of there are how many types of complexometric titrations? And we discussed here 4 types, and then we discussed about masking and demasking agents, how we can calculate individual concentration from masking and demasking agent if we are using. And the last is the application of complexometric titrations.